I just got back from LegionsCon 2025 and I picked up some exclusives. No, these are not the Four Horsemen exclusive drops. There were about 4 or 5 of them. It was nuts, but these are from some of the other toy companies that attended. So let's find out. Were they worth the price point? Are either of these regret buys? I guess we'll have to see. So 2 of the LegionsCon 2025 exclusives I picked up were from 2 different toy companies that weren't Four Horsemen. One is from Valverse and one is from Fresh Monkey Fiction, Big Bad Toy Workshop. So the best place to start is the packaging. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any packaging for the eraser. So for Fresh Monkey Fiction, they released a completely clear, translucent Lieutenant Griffin, the eraser. It's the Invisible Man. If you're unaware of what Operation Monster Force is, it is this awesome toy line. They're really great. They're a lot of fun. So we're going to look a little bit closer. This is my first action figure from this company, although I've heard nothing but great things. But in terms of packaging, it's straight up a bag. So I understand. I understand going in this direction for con exclusives. It does save on some packaging and cost, and they can get them out quickly. I understand all of that. But then I still paid $40, which is the retail price, where you do get a nice fancy box and all of the same accessories. So it's a con cash grab. That's fine. Operation Monster Force, you get a thumbs down in terms of the packaging department, but I don't hate it as someone who lets his toys breathe. So all things considered, I can give them a pass, but yes, atrocious packaging. In regards to Action Force, now I did pick up their pink soldier, which was available at LegionsCon 2024. And I do have other Valverse figures, not many, but I do have some others, and I will show some in the comparison section. But this particular one, this is really neat. Like this, I know it's just a shipper and there's nothing else on it, but that's awesome. The Action Force LegionsCon exclusive was Sidewinder. I will show off some nicer clips of this, but I like it. I dig it. If I was making a toy line, this is really cool because it pulls the inspiration from, at least, I'm sure they didn't invent it, but the fact that Mythic Legion figures, you can preserve the packaging quite easily. I really dig this quite a bit. It just is collector friendly. And you do get the action points, which is such a nostalgic retro thing. And they do have really cool announced rewards here and there, such as, not with this head sculpt, but this Condor figure. I got to give it to Valverse. I do really enjoy this packaging. I like that if I wanted to, I can put the figure and all of his accessories back in here. I like the 3 points to cut out. I like that the bio's there. Again, nostalgic, but modern, great photography. And while it doesn't say LegionsCon, because if we're being honest, the word exclusive or con exclusive gets thrown around quite a bit by these companies, only for them to pop back up on their own websites or distributor websites, or you just see them at other shows and cons. So, how exclusive is this to LegionsCon? I would say not very, but it is really nice that as a quote-unquote exclusive, a thing to draw in a crowd, I would say that Sidewinder definitely did that. The other neat part, since we're focusing on packaging, is that there are 3 head sculpts featured here. My friends and I only ended up getting the one I will be showing off, but we kept hearing other people attend that they do in fact that there are the other 2 head sculpts. They do exist, from what I understand. Apparently, Bobby Valla has not confirmed nor denied that this is a thing, but supposedly there are people getting random head sculpts. So that's pretty neat. But in terms of my friends in LegionsCon, we all got the standard version, which you're going to find out soon. In terms of these 2 companies, packaging their exclusives, their con exclusives, Operation Monster Force gives you a sandwich bag, but Valverse really stepped it up with that cardboard shipper too. It was nice. It was nice. Articulation is really nice on this figure. And what's interesting is you're going to see a lot of the same articulation points on the Valverse figure as well. In all honesty, that's the impression that I got, which is that these are Valverse styled, articulated G.I. Joe style action figures. So he moves really well. The one thing I did have to heat up, I'll just take those glasses off, was the neck joint. It does have a ball joint on the lower neck and then a neck hinge up top. That's what I had to loosen up. But once I did, you get some really exceptional range there. This is the type of articulation spots that Legends were not giving us for the longest time, and credit to Valverse and now Fresh Monkey Fiction for pushing the articulation that we saw. And now we saw somebody like Max Spidey being given similar articulated spots. And that's really great to see. That means that is the benefit of having a competitive market. So shout out to Big Bad for designing this with articulation in mind, because they really do move quite well. I think the issue is, just like on this Valverse figure that I'm about to show you, it's hindered by accessories typically, so big vests, etc. But on something like this, yeah, you have Invisible Man Snake Eyes. That's what Chewie was saying the whole weekend. But it's true. And he moves well. He's got some drop-down hips. Now, because of the translucent plastic, this type of plastic, it does feel different than the Valverse figure. It feels different than Joe's. Again, it's that clear plastic that I think does it. But he really is smooth to mess around with. If anything, like a couple spots started to loosen up, like at a thigh swivel, but that's about it. He was really ready to go out of the packaging. He has made me excited for any other Operation Monster Force figures I end up getting. And right now I really am looking at that Frankenstein Donner Party. Here's one of my other Action Force figures. This is the Condor. This is the points system. So just to show you, once again, like this plastic on both of these guys does feel different than the Invisible Man. I'm just gonna chalk it up to the clear translucent plastic to these guys. There is just a different feel to it, but there's a little comparison for you. But again, these are two Valverse guys. That's just with a Bucky Winter Soldier head sculpt on there. But yes, this is the articulation range that you were going to get on both of these guys in comparison to a G.I. Joe. Here's my Shipwreck Yimbo, which I put together a little combo, obviously, of Shipwreck and Chuckles. Big thing here is that Joe's give you the crunch, but also the lower ab ball. But you do get that crunch on there. So take it or leave it. If you feel like you need the crunch, if you think that that's, I enjoy both versions as long as we're given a ball at the waist. As long as we're given a ball at the waist, give me a crunch or not. Either way, I'm not sure if one looks cleaner or is a little bit more fun. Personally, ball joint lower waist, ball joint upper top. Like, so that's what these guys have. That is my ultimate preference, which is why I am digging the articulation scheme on both of these guys. The crunch is fine though. I can live with the crunch as long as it has that lower ab ball. So you're still able to get that extra bend, you're able to get that side to side movement, torso twist. These are ultimately what I would go for. And just a quick shout out to Storm Marina being my ultimate favorite because it has ball joint, and then a small built-in ab crunch as well. So ideally, this now is my gold standard, but these do really well. And Joe's, again, very serviceable, still fun, all of the good things. And here is Sidewinder. This is what I was referring to with the Invisible Man. He has essentially the same articulation, even the same, down to the same body. When I take this vest off, it is the exact same look as this guy. Even down to the collar. It's harder to see there, but it even has a very similar style. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It means that these are figures that if you are an articulation person like I am, you're gonna really like. You're gonna really like it. Now, I ended up picking up Sidewinder because I absolutely love that head sculpt. Day of the Dead paint, my goodness, incredible look, just gorgeous. Like honestly, just utterly gorgeous. So that is really tremendous. The vest does hinder the articulation. You're not gonna get much, but it can come off. But it can come off very easily. And he also comes loaded with quite a bit. So this is not the exact packaging that I was referencing before. If anything, this is a nicer quality Ziploc bag that my buddy No Chewing gave me. Yeah, it was just a little plastic bag with a cardboard top that was stapled on. So once that was ripped, it's gone. But here he is. This is Lieutenant Griffin the Eraser. I was able to get myself a nice sticker from the Big Bad table at LegionsCon, and then each figure does come with their own little tombstone stand. It is meant to be this because it does have the pegs for the feet, but that's really neat. I like the look of that. And again, invisible. In regards to the rest of the accessories, they are also translucent, which is amazing. And again, these guys do give you, I mean, you're gonna see the comparison with how much stuff. He's no slouch, you know? Like, again, from a price point perspective, it is pretty close. So we'll have to take a look. We'll have to see exactly, but this is neat. A little shoulder harness comes again with its own little invisible gun that can go in there. This, as far as I know, is the third invisible exclusive. They did a purple version, and then they did like a smoky translucent plastic for another con. So this is just the all clear. I wanted this one because I am getting the regular release, and he also comes with an alternate head sculpt. There's a silencer for the assault rifle. Invisible hands, that's right, invisible hands. And then a little knife and sheath, also invisible. But there he is, and yes, I got this version. I was excited for it because the same translucent plastic is used in the regular release, which you can see here. So I'm hoping to do maybe some pop and swapping or just use some of these accessories with that figure. But let's do a little closer look at the Eraser. He does also come with invisible goggles. He has this shoulder harness as well, which can come off and replace it with the other holster if you want. Personally, this looks better on the figure to me, so that's why I put the standard version back on. It has like an invisible knife and stuff, but these, as far as I can tell, I've tried to take them out, but yeah, I think that knife is stuck in there permanently, which is fine. And he also has a holster and side piece here. The goggles can come up and come off, and you can tell sort of the level of detail that was put into this figure. I am really excited for the standard release. It's in my pile of loot right now, so I'm just waiting for a couple more things to come in before I ship them out. And one last look at all of these accessories for Lieutenant Griffin, aka the Invisible Man, the Eraser, but very similar loadouts. There's a stand there, awesome figure with articulation. As you can see, less hands now. So one set you have the fists, you have some open posing hands, you got trigger hands, all right? So that's all you get in the hand department. Obviously just the one head sculpt now, I should say. But then the goggles, the assault rifle, a little silencer, a little knife and sheath there. Valverse, for the just direct comparison as to what you get for 40 bucks, Bobby V does take the W on this one. But once again, for me, I'm still super into this Lieutenant Griffin. I don't feel like I overpaid for this either. So I do want to make that point very clear. The hands, the plastic on the hands is a lot harder than some of these joints that I've been moving around to get them to pose. Just fascinating, that's all. I'm always intrigued. You think plastic's plastic, but no, there's so much stuff that goes into this. The weapons feel great, like they feel firm, and this is for Valverse too. They feel firm and they look really good, but then there's still something about it that maybe a fragility to them. It's the plastic feel, but it's not rubbery and gummy, so that is huge. I just wouldn't put either of these accessories in my top tier, but they are very solid. So since I already took them out, I'll give you a closer look of these in a second, but lots of stuff there. And then he does come with a really neat base. I like that detail, make it look like that. And I'm assuming if I cut out the card back bio, I'll be able to slide that in too if I want him to stand on there as a display piece. So that's really rad. Again, they very collector friendly. I like that he's all decked out with these holsters, but none of those grenades, as far as I can tell, it looks like, ooh, actually, there is movement. You gotta be kidding me. That's awesome. So these might be able to come out if I really wanted to. They look amazing, but yeah, I think I could. That's nuts. I had no idea. I thought that they were gonna be glued in there and just for aesthetics. You can get a couple of these little mini Uzi type situations. You can add the silencers to them or they can come off. So you get 2, 4, 6, 8 individual hands. So 4 different sets. Look at that paint. It really does different angles. Give them a whole different expression. That's crazy. And then there's a sand. So this is his loadout. But as we just learned, looks like these things will also be able to come out. And he has that machete and the helmet. So for $10, my friend Machu has recommended these because they are awesome for Deadpool and Legends. So I did try to pop them into Max Deadpool. I will have to do some modifications to the pegs, trim them down a little bit. But yeah, now you get a middle finger, you get all of these other options. Adding to the hands that I already have that came with this figure for $40, that's a maximum value right there. Like that is really amazing. To throw a little piece of criticism, it would be nice if there was an alternative head sculpt. Maybe if all 3 of those face paints were included instead of this randomized way that Bobby decided to do it, but that's okay. I mean, again, it's a fun little thing, but I was only gonna buy 1 of these. If it causes people to buy 3 or more to try to get those alternatives, that's totally understandable. That's an interesting business decision. I'm sticking with 1. I would have loved more heads, but yeah, tons of hands, lots of stuff. Here's how Sidewinder looks with his helmet on, movable, night vision goggles. That is super rad, really cool. There's a little port here, so the headphones can move. There's really no worry of breakage because it gives you that mobility to pop the helmet on and take it off. So really like that. Well thought out. Nice accessories right there. So when it comes to these 2 companies, these 2 figures being LegionsCon, to get into the final thoughts, the verdicts, Valverse actually provided a better value to me because I spent $40 in total and I was able to get that hands pack that you saw. So I spent $40 with Valverse and $40 with Operation Monster Force. From a pricing perspective, Valverse wins. It really does kind of grind my gears a little bit that Operation Monster Force was the same exact price point as I was able to get Sidewinder and a hand pack. That's nuts to me. So good on Bobby Vala and the Action Force line because they really do. They seem to be providing and trying to provide a lot of value while trying to keep price points down for collectors. So that is commendable. Big Bad is also a wonderful company. So this is, I don't have any ill feelings or will towards this. It was just something that I had to point out. Ultimately, when you look side by side, sure, it is a little aggravating that $10 more went into the eraser, but being a $40 price point and all of the accessories that it comes with, it makes me want to get the Donner Party, their Frankenstein. And I'll be picking and choosing. Not every Monster Force figure has such an impressive loadout, or some have even more, but the ones that are a little bit lacking, yeah, I would be cautious of dropping $40 on certain figures because these aren't out of the realm of a Marvel Legends G.I. Joe. And yes, those prices have crept up. Now we're looking at probably around $28 to $35 between those kind of releases. But there's also all of the business things that I do not know as just a guy that reviews these toys. So of course, this is specific perspective pricing for those companies. Either way, I enjoy both of these figures because they are very similar. They're on very similar builds, They both move pretty well. They've both made their improvements in their short time in existence, but it is something that you have to consider when you are making your purchases, especially with the economy and all. So, what do you think of these non-Mythic LegionsCon's exclusive figures from from Fresh Monkey Fiction and Valverse? How many do you have? If you have a favorite Monster Force character, let me know in the comments. If you have a favorite Valverse figure from Action Force, let me know that in the comments as well. I'm also very curious how they have succeeded or how far they've succeeded in expanding the lore. Do you care about the backstory of these characters, or are you more interested in just picking them up as action figures to photograph, pose around, etc.? And like every other YouTuber on the planet, please hit that like button. Tell your friends if this is something that you've enjoyed checking out. And you can see more toys right now by clicking on either of these playlists, whether it's my Sunday night live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about life and toys, or any of my other unboxings and toy reviews. And thanks for spending some time with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Purrs.